morning and welcome to Business Today, the program that brings you the latest insights and analysis on the business and financial scene. As we approach the planting season, farmers across Ondo State are gearing up to make the most of this critical period. From preparing the soil to selecting the right seeds, every decision counts in determining the success of the harvest. In this episode, we'll be taking a closer look at the preparations underway and what farmers can expect in the coming months. At the heart of these preparations is the Ondo State Agricultural Commodities Association, a key player in the state's agricultural sector. We will be speaking with the association's leadership to learn more about the strategies for the upcoming planting season and how they are positioning farmers for success. My name is Odunayo Soya, but we'll take a short break to come back for the news headlines before we move on to the interview segment of the program. Do stay with us. Thank you for rejoining us. The Joint Committees on Public Accounts and Public Assets of the House of Representatives have summoned Finance Minister Wale Edo and Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso over alleged breaches of the Fiscal Responsibility Act (FRA) of 2007 and issues raised in the Auditor General's 2021 report, including weaknesses in internal financial controls. Edo and Cardoso were asked to explain the central bank's remittance of its operating surplus to the Federation account in accordance with relevant laws and regulations. Reports from the Fiscal Responsibility Commission and the Auditor General indicate that several federal ministries, departments, and agencies have either failed to remit or under-remitted the operating surpluses over the past 6 years, violating financial regulations. These interactions have negatively impacted the federal government's cash flow and hindered the execution of national budgets approved by the National Assembly. The committees noted that both the Finance Ministry and the Central Bank of Nigeria had been given ample time to reconcile their accounts and clarify their positions. However, due to unresolved discrepancies, a final public hearing has been scheduled to determine the actual financial obligations. Additionally, the committees are investigating findings from the Auditor General's statutory report, which reveals that several publicly funded assets, despite being fully paid for, remain incomplete and unused for extended periods. Some of these projects, awarded between 2011 and 2016 in locations such as Dutse and Abeokuta, have yet to be completed. The hearing is set to hold today as the lawmakers seek to hold the officials accountable and ensure compliance with financial laws. In its circular to all banks, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has announced that it has, as part of its ongoing efforts to strengthen the resilience and stability of the banking sector, reviewed the capital positions and provisioning adequacy of Nigerian banks operating under CBN's forbearance supervision, decided upon certain governance actions, including the CBN in the circular suspended payment of dividends to shareholders, suspended the payment of bonuses to directors and senior management staff, and directed banks to refrain from making investment in foreign subsidiaries or new offshore ventures. The regulator noted that the temporary rules would be in force until a few conditions were met, which include the entire exiting of regulatory forbearance before dividends and staff bonuses can be shared, and continental expansion can resume, and banks' capital adequacy and provisioning levels are independently verified to be within acceptable regulatory standards. Meanwhile, some analysts view the directive of the Central Bank of Nigeria as a timely and strategic step to restore sound banking practices and boost investor confidence. Others want it may put pressure on bank stocks due to uncertainty, especially since the CBN has not publicly identified the banks under forbearance. According to them, some banks may struggle to pay dividends this year as they work to resolve outstanding loan issues. The industry experts say the suspension of dividends, bonuses, and foreign investments will help banks retain capital, improve balance sheets, and ultimately benefit shareholders in the long run. Nigeria's major crude oil grades, Bonny Light, Brass, River, and Kwaibo, surged above $77 per barrel between Friday and Sunday, driven by escalating tensions between Israel and Iran that have raised fears of a broader Middle East conflict. Data showed Bonny Light reaching $78.62 per barrel, while Brass, River, and Kwaibo closed at $77.09 per barrel and $77.14 per barrel, marking a sharp increase from the recent average of $65 per barrel. These prices exceed Nigeria's 2025 budget benchmark of $75 per barrel by over $2, potentially providing short-term fiscal relief for the government. However, energy analysts caution that the rise in crude prices may lead to higher local fuel costs as refiners face increased expenses for crude oil, the main input for petrol and diesel production. The price spike is attributed to renewed geopolitical risk following Israel's military strikes on Iran, which unsettled global markets despite no direct damage to oil infrastructure. Israel also reportedly shut down some gas production facilities as a precaution, while concerns mount over possible threats to key shipping routes such as the Red Sea and the strategic Strait of Hormuz, through which nearly 19 million barrels of oil flow daily. All right, this morning I am being joined by the chairman of the Ondo State Agricultural Commodities Association, Osrc, Chief Abiodun Adejo, and this morning we'll be taking a look at preparations for the 2025 planting season and progress in the state agricultural sector. Thank you so much for joining us on Business Today.
Thank you, my sister.
It's good to have you here after a long time.
Oh, yes.
Now, let's begin this way. The planting season is here again, and based on NIMET's prediction, what do we expect to see?
Yes, thank you very much, moderator, and thank you for listening, my viewers at home. Agriculture is the main being sustainable to sustain government and people of any nation. Without agriculture and proper agricultural system in place, the populace of that country will definitely be agitated. They will become, because Yoruba has an adage that with hunger, there's also anger. So to really make Nigeria more stabilized, make Nigerians also effectively look into by all strata of the government, both federal, state, and the local government. And that, as it is, we are also, we as farmers, because we are the association, we are looking both with the government, because we have to partner with the government anyway for us to be able to do our job very well, because there's no way you can do everything yourself. The rural road has to be well, there must be a conducive environment for you to work, the security must be adequate, a lot of so that the government has a lot of work to do to make agriculture to thrive in the state. But all our people are already in the farm now. We are, because with the rain delayed a bit, but now with the arrival of the rain, and we can see that the rain is spreading, is no more localized type of rain that we fall in an area and we don't get to the other area. At least we are having a more spread of rainfall, and with that our farmers are so happy, and they have already moved in their mass to their farms, and thinking and praying that our brothers, our problem that is really driving us away from the farm will be adequately looked into. I want to use this medium to really commend the state government for using for going into the villages and trying to secure the areas for farmers to work. Because in recent days, we have a spike in this kidnapping, maiming of farmers, and but for the past 2-3 weeks now, it seems that the trend has really stemmed down a little bit, because when we go out now, you can see the Amatekun, which was not visible before. We can see them in the villages. They are now there, and this gives at least a little bit of respite to the farmers and confidence for them to go to their farms and work. So these are for farmers. We are ready to work. The only side, like I said, the rain has come now. If you go to the roads of the farm roads, and now definitely after some time, as much as we like the rain to come, the roads will be getting bad, and if nothing is done, we will still have the problem of what we had before, where we have post-harvest losses that is really disturbing our output in this state. So I hope and I pray that the government will, Mr. Governor, whom we call him Agbotagbe One of Ondo State, because of his body language, the way he wants to see agriculture in Ondo State. I think we believe that he is going to do good for the agriculturists. So we are, with that hope, we are all moving. Our people are moving. We are contacting our people all over the country, in Ibadan, in everywhere, to see what we can get, like having tractors to plow land, to get things to do, so that our yield can be higher, and then getting good seedling, IITA, more plantation everywhere. The crane, we are all going around, and in fairness to the Minister of Agriculture in Ondo State, the tree planting section is really helping. They are trying to see how they can give farmers enough good seedling that will be able to improve their planting. So these are the things we are doing right now, and with this, I hope that the trend that normally happened before, when we plant now, we go to the farm and plant. When it is time for us to harvest, these killer headers goes there and they destroy them. We hope with the trend of security that the government is trying to put in place now, we hope that will not happen this year. Thank you.
So there is assurances of security this year from government with the presence of the Amatekun Corps.
Sure.
Now, so how do you see the rains impacting farming this year?
You see, when we talk about climate change, many of us do not understand that. They will think that it is the Igbo country. We don't have climate in Nigeria. It is not dry season and rainy season. Now the rainy season, the rainy pattern is no more predictable, unlike before. When we will say, okay, the rainy season will start at so time, then it will last for so time. This time around, you can no more predict it, and it's affecting farmers seriously, because you don't know when the rain is going to come. Like this year now, by May, many of our farmers will have gone and started planting. But this year, May, nobody could plant. Only those people that planted were the people that planted what they call on the river bank. The dry side of the river bank. Those are the people that really have opportunity of planting some maize, some vegetable, and other things. But for good agricultural planting, that is commercial planting, which is the only thing that can save us from food insecurity, nobody could enter the farm. It is now, like I said earlier, that it is now that commercial farmers can really go to the farm and put in their money and start seeing that they can plant in large quantity to be able to see that. But like I said, since we depend only on the weather, we are still praying that the weather will be favorable to us, because in any way, every country, everywhere in the world, no farmers depend on commercial farmers depend on weather again, and to do that, it requires the help of that is part of the enabling environment we are asking government to do for us. That is, like we have dams in Ondo State, different about when I was talking with the Ministry of Agriculture, I think they have about 13 or so dams in Ondo State. Let these dams be put into good use. Let the farmers cluster around the dams, and you will see that we will have good things out of that place. But you see, the clustering system, it requires somebody that is living in Akure North, and you want him to go to maybe Akoko, where there is a dam available for him. Accommodation must be possible. There must be security. Then the dam must be ready to flow throughout the year. So these are guarantees that are required of farmers to go to all those places. So we are looking, there's no way farmers can really thrive without the help of the government.
All right, so what's the place of irrigation here? Because when you take a look at the northern part of the country, we see farmers relying so much on irrigation systems. But in this part of the country, we tend to rely on a weather pattern. So what is Osrc, which is a major agricultural association in Ondo State, doing to ensure that its farmers do not, because we have about 26 clusters in Osrc even, right? Now, so what is Osrc doing in collaboration with government, other agencies, to ensure that our farmers do not rely only on weather pattern?
Yeah, like I said, I'm speaking because I know that I'm trying to engage the government anyhow. We talk to the Ministry of Agriculture, we talk to Forestry, we talk to all of them from time to time to see what they can do for us to get all this. Our farmers have been educated, well now prepared for cluster farming. You know, in those days, here in the south, or in the southern part of Nigeria, we don't know anything like cluster farming because we are not used to it. Rain was always ready for us. We don't have need for water. We don't have any. So, but now that it's becoming a major issue for farming, our farmers have started thinking towards that side, and we have already also liaised with the government to let them, like I just said now, to prepare the dams, make it available for farmers. Then we can now encourage our farmers to go there and do farming cluster. You know, they can cluster around. Like that's what I mean by clustering around the dam. Those that want to plant maize, want to plant rice, want to plant tomato, want to plant all these things will be done within an area. And when we do this one conscientiously, you will see that we can really invite investors into the state, because if investors know that if I go to Akure North and I will get 10 tons of tomato any time of the month or anything, they will be coming in their numbers, and they will be going, because they know now the farmers are already clustered there, and it's not only one person that is producing. I produce, you produce, every other product produce. So when we put them together, the people, and when they see, because when we did economics in those days, they said the nearness or of raw material impress you to cite your, what do you call it, your industry. If they know that they have it all the time ready in Ondo State, the industry will spring up.
Now, at this period, how do farmers address challenges of such as climate change? You mentioned climate change at the time. How do they address the challenge of pests and diseases?
This is part of the climate change problem. Because pests, you know, in those days, like we are always talking about those days, sorry to, when the pests, they are like human beings, they thrive at a certain temperature, certain condition. If the condition is favorable, they will be there. If the condition is no more favorable, what happens? They disappear. If you look at it, all animals, they like to live where they are conducive, that the condition is conducive for them. The climate change, like now, if rain starts in May, a good rain, all those pests, all those things that is thriving because of the humidity, because of heat and all that, will have been swept away by the rain. I use it as a banner example for people to understand, because these things are researched materials, which our research institute has to go into and look at it and look at the changes and try to get what can really be used for the farmers to be able to produce. These are not something that a farmer will wake up and say, and because of climate change, I'm going to use fari for my district. No, there must be those people, our research institute in Nigeria should be encouraged, should be funded in a way that they will be able to stand up against the challenges as it comes, because now we are talking about pests. There are some pests we have never seen in Nigeria before, and that is coming up exactly in this our area. If you, those people that planted maize, early maize this year in May, you see their maize being eaten up, even vegetable, another by unseen. You cannot even see the pest, but this thing exists. So in fact, in my house, I have one that I refuse to touch. I'm taking the pictures from time to time to give it because the people our government must be proactive, because if this thing is changing and we don't move with the trend, definitely the poor farmer who does, if not for my father when he was a farmer, he doesn't know anything about school or anything, but Crane was there to teach them how to plant cocoa, how to harvest, how to produce, how to do. So these are the things. The research institute must be given that power, the enabling environment to be able to assist the farmers when these conditions come up.
Now, briefly before we leave on the program,
Yes, sir.
Ondo State has been rated top in the production of tomato.
Sure.
Why do we then still experience? Why is Ondo State as in one of the states that
Tomato is expensive.
is expensive? Yes.
Sure. You understand? You see when we read book and read also the bad side of it is our problem. You see, in Ondo State, if you go to the market, you see the association of tomato, association of pepper, association of this, association of that, and a farmer cannot bring his goods to Shasha, put down and sell. They will take it from the person, and they will to determine the price that they will give to him, and they will go to Ogbese, bring your goods to Ogbese. They will take it from you and determine what. I said when I was still selling oil in kegs, when we get to Ogbese, they will tell you, and they will collect the whole thing until about 2 o'clock before they will tell you this is the price we are buying. So you cannot determine, you don't know what it. So the problem of these associations in the market really jeopardize our effort. In fact, Osrc, as you see, we are trying to create our own market, whereby that we call it farmers market, where we will put our own goods, and only the producers will be allowed to put goods there, and this middle men or middle women syndrome will be reduced. And we want to make sure that at least people get the goods at the right price.
Now, I want you to quickly assess the impact of the Ondo State government's agricultural initiatives on food production and security in the state.
Look, that was why I said we gave our governor Agbotagbe one of Ondo State. As soon as he came in, the first thing he did was to set up a committee on food security and farms, agriculture and food security. And these people sat down for about 3 or 4 weeks, 2 months or more, and they were able to fashion out a very good program for the government to use to make sure that agriculture in Ondo State thrives. And I'm praying, because government does not come with a snap of a finger. I pray that he who set it up will have the political will to drive it to the point that the farmers will be able to assess the input of those reports. Because if you just say, okay, he takes the report and sat there, and then the people elected or put in, or the ministry or anything, they are not giving the enabling the resources, it will be very difficult for the farmers to assess those things. But for me, I think the governor has a very good idea and good guess. His body language shows that he wants to do agriculture in Ondo State, and I hope he'll be able to do it.
Thank you very much, the chairman, Ondo State Agricultural Commodities Association, Chief Abiodun Andejo. Thank you so much for joining us on the program Business Today.
Thank you, ma'am.
We're taking a look at the 2025 planting season and progress in the agricultural sector in Ondo State. And this morning we've had the leadership of Ondo State Agricultural Commodities Association in person of Chief Abiodun Andejo. My name is Oduwayo Soya. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. Good morning.